Have you ever looked in the mirror and felt like something had changed, but you couldn't quite explain what it was? Maybe your clothes feel different, your scent isn't what it used to be, or perhaps your legs just don't carry you like they once did. These aren't always dramatic shifts. Sometimes they're subtle, so subtle you don't notice until one day your reflection quietly hints something's different. In this video, we're going to explore 4 often overlooked signs of aging in older men. These aren't about wrinkles or hair color. These are about smell, shape, strength, and structure. The quiet clues your body uses to tell you it's changing. We'll follow the journeys of 4 men. Richard, who noticed a new scent he couldn't wash away. Frank, whose once lean frame betrayed him at the waist. George, who discovered that ears don't stop growing. And Robert, who realized his disappearing calves were taking more than muscle. They were taking his mobility. This isn't just a medical breakdown, it's a reflection on how we evolve with age. You'll hear real stories backed by science and walk away with practical strategies to adapt with dignity, strength, and even humor. And before we dive in, which of these signs do you think you've noticed in yourself or someone you love? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. Now let's begin. Number 1, the scent of time. Richard always considered himself a clean man. Retired from a long career as an aerospace engineer, he maintained a tidy home, wore pressed shirts, and showered daily. So when his granddaughter climbed onto his lap one afternoon and innocently remarked, "Grandpa smells like old books," he chuckled. But later that night, the comment stuck with him. He sniffed his clothes, changed his detergent, even tried a different cologne. Nothing worked. He felt betrayed by his own body. What Richard was experiencing wasn't poor hygiene, it was biology. After years of study, researchers identified a compound called 2-nonenal, which begins to appear more prominently in people over 40. It's not caused by bacteria or sweat, but by lipid peroxidation, the breakdown of fatty acids under oxidative stress. The scent is subtle, waxy, and slightly grassy. Not everyone can detect it, but those who do often describe it as musty or woody. Unlike typical odors, it resists soap and clings to fabric, living in our clothes long after the day ends. This phenomenon was extensively studied by researchers at the Monell Chemical Senses Center in Philadelphia. In a 2001 study published in the journal PLOS ONE, scientists confirmed that people over the age of 40 produce 2-nonenal in greater quantities. The study also noted that while body odor in general tends to be perceived as unpleasant, the specific scent associated with elderly individuals was actually rated as less intense and less unpleasant than that of younger age groups, suggesting it's more about unfamiliarity than foulness. Older skin regenerates more slowly, Dr. Benton explained. That means oxidized compounds stay on the surface longer, giving off this scent. It's like a fingerprint of aging, unique, irreversible, but manageable. And there are ways to ease it. Switching to soaps that dissolve excess oil, especially those with activated charcoal, sulfur, or persimmon extract, can be more effective. Persimmon extract, in particular, used in Japanese skincare, has shown promise in neutralizing 2-nonenal. Adding leafy greens, green tea, and citrus fruits to your diet boosts your antioxidant levels, helping to combat oxidative stress from within. Even simple home solutions like washing clothes with baking soda or a splash of white vinegar in the rinse cycle can help neutralize the scent trapped in fabrics. Richard made peace with the scent eventually. He embraced it as part of his legacy. "If I smell like old books," he joked, "maybe it's because I've lived enough chapters to write a library." Dr. Hiroshi Hayes, a Japanese biochemist at the Shiseido Research Center, famously referred to 2-nonenal as the invisible badge of age. "It's not something to fear," he said, "but something to understand." Understanding, after all, is the first step toward dignity, and Richard now carried his scent with quiet pride. If you found value in this story, hit that subscribe button and join us for more heartfelt conversations about aging, health, and living well. Number 2, the belly that wouldn't budge. Frank had always been lean. A former firefighter, his body once seemed chiseled by years of climbing ladders, hauling hoses, and powering through physically demanding shifts. But now, at 76, retired and slower in pace, he was frustrated. "Doc," he sighed during a routine visit, patting his midsection. This wasn't here before. Unlike the weight gain he'd seen in others over the years, Frank's change wasn't from indulging in desserts or skipping workouts. He still ate clean, he still walked daily, but the belly was growing. This too was something I'd seen repeatedly. As men age, a cascade of internal changes works against their once reliable metabolism. Testosterone levels decline, reducing the body's capacity to maintain muscle mass. And since muscle burns more calories than fat, even resting metabolism slows. Combine that with lower physical intensity in daily life and a diet that, while seemingly unchanged, no longer meets the body's hormonal needs, and the belly appears. But it's more than vanity. Visceral fat, the type that wraps around abdominal organs, is particularly dangerous. It contributes to higher risks of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and even memory loss. I remember reading a study out of Harvard Medical School in 2018 that shook me. It showed a strong correlation between abdominal obesity in older men and cognitive decline. In essence, the more belly fat they carried, the greater their risk of dementia. In fact, another study published in Neurology, the official journal of the American Academy of Neurology, linked higher levels of visceral fat with reduced total brain volume in older adults, suggesting that belly fat doesn't just affect your waistline, it might literally shrink your brain. Frank's case mirrored those findings. His blood pressure had crept up. His cholesterol was higher than last year. He was sleeping poorly and waking more tired. He'd started to feel off, mentally foggy, less motivated, more irritable. "Your belly's not just weight," I told him. "It's a signal. Your body's trying to get your attention." We built a plan: resistance training 3 times a week, prioritizing lean proteins like fish, legumes, and eggs, and cutting out refined carbohydrates that spike insulin and accelerate fat storage. He also began intermittent fasting under supervision, which showed promising results in older adults, according to a 2021 review in Frontiers in Endocrinology. This protocol helped regulate his insulin levels and improved his metabolic flexibility. We also incorporated mindful eating strategies, eating slower, chewing more, pausing between bites. Small habits, big returns. 3 months in, Frank hadn't lost much on the scale, but his waist was down an inch. He moved more easily, and he felt, his words, less foggy. There's something liberating about understanding that our bodies aren't betraying us. They're evolving, adapting. Belly fat isn't laziness. It's the price of slowing internal machinery. It's your biology asking for a bit more attention, a bit more support. But that price can be negotiated. You just have to know where to push back. We're just getting started. Subscribe now and let's navigate this journey of aging together. Number 3, the growing ears phenomenon. George always had symmetrical features. In his younger years, he was often complimented for his boyish charm and balanced face, a trait that landed him a few modeling gigs in college. But when his daughter sent him a framed photograph from his wedding, taken nearly 50 years ago, he was stunned. "I couldn't believe it," he told me during our consultation. "It wasn't just the hair that had gone or the wrinkles. My ears, they were different, bigger, lower." At 78, George wasn't imagining things. It's a biological truth that ears continue to grow as we age. But it's not that the cells in your ear are multiplying wildly. It's more a combination of gravity, cartilage behavior, and skin elasticity, or rather, the loss of it. Cartilage, which makes up the outer ear, doesn't ossify or solidify like bone. It continues to grow subtly throughout life, and as skin loses its tautness, gravity pulls the ears downward. The result? Ears that look noticeably larger, longer, and sometimes a bit droopier. Studies from the Journal of Anatomy and other longitudinal analyses, including one conducted in 1995 by Dr. James Heathcote, published in the British Medical Journal, confirmed that ears grow at an average rate of 0.22 millimeters per year. This means a man in his 80s could have ears more than 2 centimeters longer than in his youth, an evolution we rarely account for. While this isn't medically dangerous, it does impact self-image. George confided that he stopped wearing his hearing aids in public, not because of shame around hearing loss, but because he thought they emphasized his ear size. I felt like Dumbo, he said, half laughing, half serious. And I know it's silly, but vanity doesn't retire when you do. That vulnerability is more common than we realize. Research into body image and aging, such as a 2010 report from the International Journal of Geriatric Psychiatry, found that changes in facial features, including nose and ear size, can affect self-esteem, especially in men who previously identified with youthful masculinity. To help George, I didn't prescribe surgery or creams. I prescribed perspective. I shared with him a quote I often revisit from Dr. Leo Buscaglia. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. We also address practical steps: hydration, sun protection, and collagen-boosting foods like bone broth, berries, and citrus can improve skin elasticity. Moisturizers with retinol or hyaluronic acid can support the skin around the ears, and regular facial massage can encourage circulation and firming. George embraced the changes. Now, I tell people my ears are getting bigger because I'm always ready to listen, he joked, and the twinkle in his eye was back. Aging isn't always graceful, but it can be dignified, wise, even humorous, especially when we understand the reasons behind the changes and learn to live with them kindly. If you appreciate science-backed insights delivered with empathy, don't forget to subscribe. There's more wisdom and research coming your way. Number 4. The disappearing calves. Robert used to pride himself on his calves. In his younger days as a mailman in San Francisco, he'd climb dozens of hills each day, often challenging himself to take the stairs 2 at a time. His legs were strong, defined, almost like those of a cyclist. But now, at 75, Robert was noticing something unsettling. His lower legs looked smaller, less firm. His pants fit differently. Standing up from the couch required more effort, and stairs, which once felt like a breeze, had become more of a chore. "I don't get it," he said during a physical. "I haven't lost any weight, but my legs feel like they've deflated." He wasn't imagining it. What Robert was experiencing was sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss. And the calves are often one of the first places this change becomes visible. This isn't just about vanity or size. Calves play a vital role in balance, mobility, and overall strength. When they shrink, your risk of falls, fatigue, and even long-term disability increases. The physiology behind it is multifaceted. As men age, declining testosterone and growth hormone levels hinder muscle regeneration. Physical activity often becomes more limited, either due to lifestyle changes or aches and pains, causing underuse of specific muscle groups. And the circulatory system, especially in the lower extremities, becomes less efficient, decreasing nutrient delivery to muscle fibers. Robert's story reminded me of an older study from the University of Pittsburgh that showed a direct link between calf circumference and fall risk in men over 70. The thinner the calf, the weaker the mobility. We had a long conversation about what to do. I emphasized one key point: it's not too late. He started doing seated calf raises at home using a backpack filled with books. Just 3 sets of 15 reps a day. Later, we added resistance bands. He also took short walks on an incline every morning, sometimes just pacing up and down his driveway. 3 months later, his tone had returned. Not as dramatic as his 30s, but enough to make a difference. He told me proudly, "My grandson raced me to the mailbox, and I won." Nutrition played a role too. Older adults often underconsume protein. We boosted his intake with eggs, salmon, lentils, and the occasional whey protein shake. He also started taking vitamin D and magnesium, 2 nutrients critical for muscle function and nerve signaling. Robert's case illustrates an important truth. What shrinks with age can sometimes be rebuilt. Not to the same size, perhaps, but to the same purpose. Our bodies are resilient if given the tools to thrive. For older men, rebuilding lower body strength isn't about looking good at the beach. It's about walking with confidence, climbing stairs unassisted, and standing tall in every sense of the word. He still writes me letters. His last one ended with a simple sentence I'll never forget: "My calves are back, and so is my stride." Enjoyed this? Then subscribe and turn on the bell to stay with us every step of the way. In the end, what do you think growing old really teaches us about who we are and what truly matters? As we wrap up this journey through the quiet, often unspoken signs of aging in men, one thing becomes clear. Aging is not a finish line. It's a transformation, a conversation between your body and your life story. And if you are paying close enough attention, it's also a teacher. You've heard about scent, belly, ears, and calves, but these changes are just metaphors in motion. Each shift is the body's gentle nudge reminding you to care more, to slow down where it matters, and to act where you still can. The truth is, growing older is not about becoming less. It's about becoming more of who you are, more present, more thoughtful, more resilient. Because every wrinkle, every ache, every new shape or sensation is not just a loss. It's a reminder that you've lived, that you're still living, and that there's still so much life left to live. So embrace the chapters you've already written and write the next ones with intention. Make peace with the mirror, the scale, and the staircase. Be kind to your body. It's been carrying you for decades. And if this video resonated with you, if you saw yourself in Richard, Frank, George, or Robert, then I invite you to do two small things. Like this video to let us know this message mattered. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss another story, another insight, or another reminder that you're not alone in this journey. Thank you for watching. Keep aging with strength, heart, and purpose.